Welcome to the FutureNow talks here at the Expo site. Today I'm joined by Hari Prasad. He is the CISO of National Bank of Fujairah and also one of the clients that I've really been happy about engaging with over the last couple of years. So welcome to Expo, Hari Prasad. So it's quite clear that information security is changing a lot right now, and in a few minutes we'll dig in a little bit more about that. But can you tell me a little bit about what technology is doing for National Bank of Fujairah and how you're utilizing technology inside of the organization today?
I'll just talk about, in general, about the overall financial institutions. It's all about how we take care of the customers. Back in 2017, 2018 itself, NBF launched, we've seen there is a number of attacks on the SMS-based OTP and all the stuff, and password hacking. So we introduced a concept called no password for the customers. Back in 2017, I'm talking about. In fact, we are one among the few in the world at that particular time where a customer, whether it is a retail or corporate, log into our internet banking platform, whether it is on the web-based or the mobile platform, with their biometrics directly. They just need to enter their user ID and next is taken care. All right. So this has increased our adoption of digital technology. Adoption of digital technologies by the customer has increased from 40 to 70%. All right. That means more than 30% of the people who are coming to the branches, they started using our platform because of the ease of utilization. All right. And the next one, which we launched recently, it's been a year, is SME Connect, which is called as NBF Connect platform. It is a platform for SMEs, where many of the SMEs, the biggest constraint is how they need to get their marketplace, how they need to get the bank accounts. What about a platform where they get a bank account and banking services, plus they can search for the customers in that platform, how it will be. So that was a thought behind it, and we are executed it. So we are having so many customers now, SMEs, if they want to do the business, they can search for the other people who are part of the SME, and they can collaborate, and then win-win strategy happens. So we are not only doing banking, we are rather enriching our customers to win their business positively. The key differentiator is how we are ensuring that we meet the customer needs. That is the principle NBF is working. One of the key principles keeping this man back end, we automated more than 60 key processes using robotic process automation. Okay, so there are 60 means there are around 200 to 300 staff available, right? So, and they are experienced bankers. What they're doing now, we enable and equip by introducing this artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, to better customer relationship management rather than doing the back end.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, that's what we did.
That is very interesting. Utilizing technology in that place, in that way. Also, I have to say that the best password you can choose is, of course, not having any password. Yes. And by that, I don't mean that you shouldn't have passwords in your applications, but if you can tie your identity to something like your biometrics or an authentication platform that can identify you without you typing a password, that's of course a much better security approach as well. Right. I do know that some of the projects that we have been involved with as well, so for instance the UAE Trade Connect, that yes. I know that NBF is one of the founding financial institutions behind, and Helbit, you've been part of doing some of the security assessment of that specific infrastructure. But maybe you can just tie a few words to what you're doing with the Trade Connect platform and what it's doing for you.
Yes. So the best thing that we like in this part of the world, we compete, but at the same time collaborate to win the customer trust towards not only a single bank, towards the whole financial system and towards the country. UAE Trade Connect is one of the key examples for that. All right. And this came out from the Etisalat as a concept along with the 6 banks along with that NBF is one of the key partners. First and foremost objective they thought is how we need to ensure that one invoice fraud has to be reduced. Okay, that is the first and foremost thing that they wanted to try it out. And they wanted it to be transparent, okay, and they wanted to be secure, and they wanted to be resilient. So the three components, and Etisalat has acquired best of the Help AG being the security vendor. So we get different kind of assurance that yes, this platform can be more secure than others. I'll tell you the story how we made that more secure together. And also the banks together, they kept their processes shared and developed that component together. Now it's 6 banks, hopefully within some time there are multiple other 5. So an invoice that is generating within the probability of that invoice fraud happening between these 6 banks is very less unless he goes to some other bank. So I'm expecting many banks to join recently. Some new banks also joined in the December, I've seen in the newspapers. And with respect to the cybersecurity, blockchain risk management one is of course theory we all read, and practically implementing the controls around it. It was the key thing we learned is first when starting the concept, we all looked into the technology's strategic risks. What can be the strategic risk if this blockchain fails? All right. Then we've taken those strategic risks to the design stage. The design stage, how we handle those strategic risks in the design stage from the technology experts. All right. So each bank has participated along with, of course, the expert from both Etisalat and Help AG has helped us how to design it effectively. And then the third component is, of course, we have implemented very effectively. Yes, the number of tests that we have done on that particular platform, because it is first time 6 banks trying to come out and trying to collaborate to launch with the latest technologies using blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all those components are there. How we need to ensure that this is resilient and secure. So we implemented in that manner. Now the operational, we are learning, continuously learning what else need to do it. All right, and this is amazing process we have done from strategic to the operational stage.
I should probably also mention that that Help AG works specifically on the security assessment of this platform, but the project itself was delivered closely by Etisalat and is now actually its own separate company called UAE Trade Connect. And I also know that actually there's real use cases operating there inside of this crypto chain and blockchain environment that allows detection of these specific fraud cases. So there you have it. Crypto and blockchain is not only about ransomware payments that we talk about a lot in cybersecurity. There's also really, really good uses of this technology. One more thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the financial sector in general is a very competitive sector, but one of the things that I'm really pleased to see is some of the collaboration that's actually happening between banks when we're specifically talking about how do we stay resilient against cybersecurity issues and specifically, of course, also cyber attacks. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what you guys are doing inside of the group of CISOs within the UAE Banking Federation.
When it comes to the cybersecurity, we all realize that one solution can't fit for all the banks at the same time because each financial institution has different risk appetite. However, in a stage where if an attack happens to one of the financial institutions, how we need to ensure that when other financial institutions are protected or informed well in advance. Keeping this in mind, we formed, along with the help of Banking Federation Group, UBF, there's a committee called Cybersecurity Committee. We all collaborate and meet every monthly or quarterly, depends upon the frequency what we set for the year beginning. In 2018, we launched a platform, threat intelligence sharing platform, where all the banks, based upon whatever the threats they encountered, which will be an advantage for the other banks to consume it or vice versa, rather than we coming to know from the outside world. All right, and this is not only a threat intelligence sharing platform. We became now, it's a knowledge sharing people also. From past 4 years, we are happy that we all learned a lot from that. And we reached a stage that now, why not we start something called as a war game exercise, cyber war game exercises. It's not as an individual organization, as a financial systems together. All right? One payment gateway system it impacts all financial institutions, right?
Of course, yeah.
Right? So how we handle that? So once we already done the learnings we have taken, it is not only covering a technology, it covers both technology and management, how we respond and react to any cyber incidents. So hopefully this year also we will be coming out with something like that.
That's very cool to hear. You know, the financial industry in general is part of what I would consider critical infrastructure. You know, the dependency on being able to do both electronic as well as physical transactions today is, of course, extremely important to upkeep society. Yeah. And therefore, I know that your industry specifically is also both identified as a part of the critical infrastructure, but it's also an industry which is very targeted as well. I do know that there's a lot of things happening inside of the let's say the realm of data and how you protect data and data privacy. We have the UAE data privacy laws coming out right now. I could imagine that on your desk of tasks and in your inbox in your computer, I could imagine that a lot of the things that you're actually awake and keeping yourself awake around is how do you deal with this challenge around how do we deal with data privacy while still being able to gain business benefits out of that data. So maybe you can also share a little bit of light on what's happening in that space.
UAE is one of the few countries which started back in 2008 a cybersecurity law, and then now they're also adaptive to what is changing in the world, and they launched the data privacy law and all this stuff. That's good. That is good for the end users, first and foremost thing, because we are trying to protect the privacy of the end user. Right, coming to the financial institutions, there is a long way to go, and because data privacy, the definitions itself is frequently changing. And one way we are talking about advancing in our digitalization, where we say that we can capture the location of the user, we can capture the behavior of the user. Based on that behavior, we will be able to give the right financial advisory to the customers. And at the same time, I need to protect the privacy based upon customer intent only. I need to provide that particular service. Yes, I don't say it is a challenge, it's a hurdle we need to cross. We will learn over the time now. And data privacy because it's not only a cybersecurity, there is a compliance element, there is a legal element. All these things are maturing together. We all are collaborating together to reach that particular stage. It is not only a financial institutions like partners like Help AG or other partners. They help from the data security perspective. Similarly, we need to look for the legal partners and the insurance brokers. All those people come together to form into a next stage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just a technical problem. There's a lot of structure around it as well, which of course is something that you experience.
Just add one more point, and at the same time, the amount of awareness that we need to give to the end user. It's no more if somebody asking your passport, you're sharing the passport over the email or WhatsApp, to why you need, and I'm sharing this for specific, and if that data goes from that place to the another place, you will be knowing. Just imagine about that.
Yeah.
It's a journey we all need to, along with the customer, hand in hand, we need to grow.
Yeah. You know, we've talked a little bit about the future. We talked about what you guys have done in the past and how you're utilizing technology. That's really, really interesting. As a CISO, what is your nightmare that you are waking up in the middle of night thinking that this cannot happen to me, and what is the concern that you see as a CISO in the environment today?
Thank you for the environment that we create in the organization, because it's really it really matters starting from the how you are able to pitch the cybersecurity within the organization with your senior management and with your business and with your operations. All right, if you go and pitch saying that one, if they perceive you as saying that one you are a stopper or you are a delayer for their projects, then cybersecurity can't be successful in that particular. And what keep me awake is my customers, to be frank. All right, are we able to provide the service? If any customers are impacted, are they able to contact me immediately? We can't stop the 100% cyber attacks. We are more concentrating on, of course, the prevention is a hygiene rather, like for the COVID, we've taken the vaccine. All right, the hygiene is a mandatory. There is no exception to it, and we are working on resilient. If it happens, does the customer know what to do? Does my user know? Does my management know? Or am I a cybersecurity person? Do I know what to do?
Yeah.
Right. We're concentrating on this. Right. That helps us. It's a journey, to be frank. It starts with, I know we started this SOC 5 years back with, Help AG. Now we are reaching different maturity. Now I had a different kind of comfort saying that one, if this kind of incident happens, I'm sure that I get an alert and somebody is actually knows what to do. It's not a single person dependency.
Sure.
All right. So the resiliency towards, we are all working towards the resiliency, and coming to the overall strategy where we are working is, we're working on 3 key elements. One is on the identity. We take the staff and the third party's identity as a separate governance element, and the customer identities as a customer. Previously, customer identities used to be only online banking and mobile banking, and just name the organization which has only these 2 services to the customers online. Every organization have at least more than 3 to 4 applications or 3 to 4 apps available to the customer. How are you managing those identities? And we being the corporate banking, our how we manage the corporates, it's not a single person like an individual user is there. Corporate will be having multiple identities coming over here. If an user exited from that corporate, and if that corporate is not able to remove that user from the financial system that we provide to them, what will be the impact?
True.
All right. So we are all, this is on the identity, and as you rightly mentioned, we are working on the data, and the third component is the culture.
So just before we finish off, there's one question that we have asked all of our guests here at the FutureNow talks about. So I'm going to ask you as well. I want you to, of course, keep it personal, so it doesn't have to be the opinion of the bank that you're going to reflect on here. But, sitting here today, we've been talking about the past and also a little bit about the future and what you do with technology. Thinking about that and keeping that in mind, what would you like to see being available here today? What would you bring from the future to today as part of your daily life?
Very, very good question. In fact, I would like technology helps all of us to be more inclusive, independent of which country, religion, race, caste you are from, and also people with determination, everything in one particular place, and they talk in the same language. Technology can help that. That is the first thing which I would like to see. And the second thing is how we can use this technology to help everybody in the world so that everybody lives happily.
Thank you very much for joining us here, Hari Prasad, and thank you very much for taking the time to visit us here at the beautiful Expo site, which I know that you have been enjoying as well. This was one installment of our FutureNow talks, and FutureNow talks is really about engaging with customers as well as technologists in order to talk about some of the technology that will be and topics that will be impacting us in the future. So stay tuned for further installments of these webcasts.